So, this is Photoshop, everybody. I started Balren here. This is him in all of his glory. I doubt you guys can see it all that well, so I'm going to drop a layer of absolutely nothing, because Photoshop lives and dies by layers full of nothing. And so on this empty layer, I'm going to drop black. So now you should be able to see him clear as a bell. And the beauty of a black empty layer is, see this? Haha. See, it looks like stars. That right there is a bunch of gravelly nonsense I got to get rid of. It's just dropping a background color that heavily contrasts everything you're looking at, makes it easier for you to find flaws. Not that they're a big issue right now. That's the wrong layer to erase, I'm guessing. And then I like to flicker to know the truth of life. So I flicker a lot. Flickering a layer tells you what's actually there. So this is a Balren layer. Do I need this layer too? Okay, so I'm now on the illustration layer. Erase. Boo. Escape. It's funny because every time I work in Photoshop, I like threaten Photoshop when it's trying to give me attitude or lip about not doing what it's doing. So this is starting to feel really a lot like that. I will try and break it down as best I can. But at the same time, I don't know how much into the weeds I want to get the technical, because Photoshop is Photoshop and she's beastie. She can do a lot. She can, wreck somebody's self-image. She can commit fraud. She's powerful. All right, so I am working off a relatively new version. I think I'm on Photoshop CS 2018 or 2019. I don't know. I get it from work. So, haha, thank you, my work. And this is one of many tools that is called a brush. And a brush is anything that has that big ol' circle. Hey, it's Tay. Sup, Tay? And when you have any brush, you can right click and it sums up this little window that allows you to change the size and the hardness. So this is what I teach this stuff to kids. Yeehaw. So here's some Photoshop funsies. I'm going to be on new layer of nothing, because a layer of nothing is your friend, because you can test out stuff and commit to nothing. So I'm going to grab a random brush to show you what hardness looks like. This is 100% hard brush. It makes a, nope, that you couldn't see that because my flow is low. This is 100% hard brush. It makes a hard edge. This is a 0% brush. It makes a soft, fuzzy edge. Yay. Now, you're seeing me use a brush like somebody would use Microsoft Paint. And that's all well and good, except the Microsoft Paint straight up sucks. Once you start learning Photoshop, Photoshop is like the king. The queen. We're going to make her a girl. So, in addition to... So I often, you'll see, as I get rolling, I often use this soft edge brush because it can fade into and out of stuff very nice and clean. Ah. Yeah, it's going to be random, y'all. This show is going to obey the laws of chaos magic. So it's when I'm going to do it. And it'll make more sense. But right now, it's just like when I feel like it. I just want to catch up on Balren. Oh, thank you, TT2KB. Remove the Zweihander game info. All right. So, brushes. So that's a hard brush on the left. That's a soft brush on the right. And then up here at the top of my screen is a little icon called flow. And flow is lovely. Flow rate is an icon that's done with a little airbrush logo kind of next to it. And that's because when you set the flow really high, it makes a 100%. The whole mark is there. Maximum opacity. Whatever you need. However, if you set the flow low, it starts to behave closer to an actual pencil or brush in life. So if I drag, at first you don't see anything. But if you see me cut back a little bit more, it starts to fade into view like an actual mark I might use in my own classroom, where now it is simulating the effect of pressure. so I can paint as I go. So that is brushes in a nutshell. Deleted. And now it's all gone. So now I need to drop some base coats. Now, the base coats I'm going to use. Yeah, just getting me streaming was like a huge deal. So the titles and over on there. Yeah. This should be how our online art call is. Oh, hey. Hey y'all. Kobe there is straight up one of my students. So this is eerie now. Now I'm being watched by one of my kids. Hey Kobe, congrats. Kobe there doesn't have class on Tuesday. He did for all of like a couple hours. And then the governor told our superintendent what's up and shut that down. And so now all the Yorkville kids are free. The funny thing is, actually, it's kind of ironic. Kobe did take my graphics class. So this is similar to what I taught, but different. Because to be honest, what I'm teaching, like your own character artwork, is so very specific to this kind of stuff. And it was so advanced that I don't really teach it. Because in graphics class, it's already a lot. Like trying to get used to getting comfortable with these programs. Like I work so fast in these now, I do things that I don't even remember to narrate sometimes. Like right now, I'm using a selection tool because now that I see all these little bits here, I'm cleaning them and it's driving me bonkers. Selection tools are anything that make these dotted lines, these glowy dotted lines. So those are basically, ready for irony, quarantines. As long as these glows exist, these glowy lines, this dotted moving line, then nothing can exist outside of them. So if I make a empty layer, because empty layers are the best, and I start painting outside of it, oh look, nothing's happening outside. I can't paint until I enter the box. And then I exit the box, and they're gone. Oh my god. So I deleted that. So a selection allows you to block things off so you can hyper control. Yeah, quarantine. So you can hyper control. Yeah, like masking tape. But it's like masking tape that is like, it's masking tape that can zoom in to 6,400 because that is the maximum that Photoshop can zoom into. Ready for... Let's zoom into Balren's eye until we just get it till it's crazy pants. Oh my god. I'm zoomed in more. I'm zoomed in. Hold on, where's Balren's eye? We're in his eye. So we are at 12,800% zoom. So you can make a pixel take up the entire screen if you choose to. So it's masking tape to the infinite. So in order to do what we're going to do next, I want to drop base coats everywhere because a base coat of color allows me to build on top of it. And it's literally like painting 101, the basics of painting. Now, you saw me summon this. This is paths, and paths are how I've been micromanaging my life in this to make it easy. So... right now, a lot of these paths are actually left over from other stuff like Kodo. So, yeah, nope. That's Kodo's hands and feet. Armor. This is all Kodo. This is unnecessary. Okay, then that means I got to make my own path for Balren. I guess I never made it. So, I got to shut that off. Come on. Leave me alone. Go away. Deselect. Okay. And I have to, I'm going to magic wand the hat. So right there, magic wand is one of the many selection tools. Magic wand is not as convenient as it sounds. It just looks really convenient right now because of the type of image I'm working on. So magic wand senses similar values. So if something is all bright, it senses that. If something's all dark, it senses that. And when you click, it grabs everything that's right close by and also of the same value, kind of. So on a black and white drawing where I've inked it all, then it grabs whole areas, as long as I made sure that all my little ink lines are on point, like they're perfect. So I've grabbed the hat. I'm going to make this thing up here metal. So that's for the Balren, Demon Beast of the Seas. I think I'll let that be it as it is. Is Balren with us right now? Is he in the chitty chat? Because if he is, I'm going to give him input. He'll be a chat that can actually talk to us if he wants to. Somebody tell me if a Balren is there. Okay. So I got no Balren. All right. I don't know. What color hat do I want for Balren? Probably a green. You know what? I'm going to go with a green, but I'm going to make it a slightly different green from the jacket. So here's where we go with greens and whatnots. So this is the jacket. The jacket, folks, was a lot of fun. After I put base coats down for the hat, we're going to do something kind of elaborate for the jacket, to be honest. And we'll end up promoting a website, and I'm sure they're going to like that, or I don't know. Hey, Clint, if I promote somebody else's website without their permission, but they're a cool place, but I don't have their permission to stream them, do I get in trouble? Because then I don't know if I should be doing that. Yeah. It's real gator skin, y'all. I stole a real leather coat. Ready? Want to see it? Because I'm a thief. I already showed this to my students too. Blam. I stole that. And I took chunks of that, and then I used free transform set to warp, and I warped it down into the shape. So, like a digital tailor, I had to literally cut off a sleeve of this jacket and size it down to this sleeve. Then I had to take the same sleeve, bring it over here, cut it, flip it, warp it down. And so each piece of Balren's jacket was built from pieces of this jacket. And it's not as simple as just grabbing the whole jacket and warping it down. You have to take it in pieces so things warp and look correct. And the biggest pain in Photoshop and really any art is the thing that's eternal in two-dimensional art that three-dimensional art doesn't have to worry about is lighting. Lighting's kind of the devil. You just live and die by lighting. So I'm going to go in here. Oh, did something before I told you what I was doing. This here is your color information on the side. It's beautiful. I'll move it over here. This is my toolbar, y'all. And down here is the color information. And if you double click on either of these, you bring up the color picker. And the color picker is it's just the best thing in the world. The color picker, allows you to go through and pick whatever color you want. Oh, isn't it so beautiful? All the pretty colors. And it's separated by H for hue, S for saturation, B for brightness. And then the default of Photoshop is the light mixing theory of RGB. And RGB, for all you to know, we're going to get into color theory. I'll just bring it up every time it comes up. But color theory is of two types. I really wish there was a colorblind version of Photoshop, but there's straight up ain't. So Rain has no idea what he's looking at. Woo! All right, so I'm going to go to a green. I really don't mess with these sliders much because it's just too hard to predict. That's fun to look at, but doesn't really help you any. However, the B slider, the S slider, and the H slider, hue, saturation, and brightness I live in. So I'm coming up here. I'm going to stick to a slightly bluish green for the hat, but I'm going to desaturate it, pull some of the life out of the color, and darken it, like real dark. And we'll see if I like this, and who knows, I might even hate it. Now, let's be wise. As any of my students, I tell them, when you're in Photoshop, you always want to avoid working on your original. Right now, I've got illustration copy here that's literally like Balren. If I make it go away, the whole screen goes away. So if I dump color on this, I'm literally dumping it on the illustration. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to bond a change I've made that's permanent. So I instead am going to make an empty layer with nothing on it and then dump the color on that. So now I can see what it looks like. See if I like it. It's very flat. It's at least a slight off color. I kind of like it because it gets darker. I definitely want the hat to be darker. I think if the hat looks lighter, it's going to look like one of those dumb foam hats from a sporting event that makes you look a little bit silly. I feel like the hat should be darker so he's visually bookended well because, of course, the boots will be black. I will come back to that. Now, let's talk about one of the best websites in the world. See if I can find anything on it. I don't know if I can find anything on it or not. So here we go. This, ladies and gentlemen, is textures.com. I love textures.com. It's literally a website of stuff. It's just high resolution pictures of stuff. And it's free. So the pictures are guaranteed to be quality. And everything on it is just like things you might want. So I'm going to log into myself. Here we go. Yeehaw. Careful. Now you know an email address. Ooh, no. Oh! Ha Impromptu babies here. She's my favorite person. Oversized hat. It's funny. All right. So I'm now going to search. Now I log in. If you start playing in Photoshop. Okay, well, let me back off for a second. I'll show you guys this real quick. If this is the actual website. Should be. No, that's not it. GIMP. There is a free photo editor. Free. GIMP.org. Okay, folks, this is GIMP. I do not know GIMP, but GIMP is a free online Photoshop clone. You can download it. You can work on it at home. I am not good on GIMP, not because I don't know how it works, but because it is Photoshop if you set up your room as Photoshop and then GIMP showed up and moved all the stuff in your room. So every time I mess around with GIMP, I have to touch all the tools and move everything around to figure out where things are. So GIMP works exactly like Photoshop. However, everything is in a different location and the tools don't work quite as well. So if you know anybody that knows Photoshop, they start playing with it, they're just going to start complaining. They'll know how to use it, but they won't be like any good at it. So goodbye to you, GIMP. So if any of you guys want to try anything I'm doing, feel free to give it a shot to GIMP if you don't have the monies for Photoshop. So I want cloth. I'll see what I get. This could be weird. Anyway, the reason why I like this website is if you sign in and make an account on textures.com, it is free. And the free limitation on textures.com is that you are limited by how many daily credits you get. So you're limited on how much you can download within a single day. So here's a lot. I want something that looks kind of like just muslin and beat up. I like this a lot. So I'm going to download this guy because it looks beat up, scratchy cloth. And I'm going to go back, use him for sure. The trouble is, my players watching this stream are going to be able to see... Yeah, bloodstains, for reals. Textures.com has so much bloodstain work because they know their audience. So if you need to simulate violence, Textures.com is there for you. I really like this guy. Stainy and old. Now, my goal with Balren is mostly greens, a couple pops of slightly contrasting colors. And then the coat's going to be immaculate. And the coat's almost done. And then everything else is going to look a little bit beat up. I'm starting to get weird stuff now. Stuff that's no good to me. These mannequins are useless to me. Get out of here, mannequins. Those tassels are not bad. All right. Well, that wasn't much help. But I got a couple things I can use. Let me see if I can use anything else up here that I like. What's this? Interesting. Okay. I use this guy. See how this says seamless underneath of it? I use seamless textures for all my maps. So I go in and I'll grab rock or grass or dirt or mud or sand that is a seamless tile, and I'll link it up with duplicates of itself until it covers the entire page. So then I basically have a matte background that's all like grass or rock or whatever I need. Interesting. The higher res ones use more points. Yeah. I've actually, Rain, I've seen listed in a couple book jackets with elaborate covers, textures.com cited as an image source. So that means professional designers go on here and steal whatever they need, and then they go back to Photoshop and start working it up. So I am going to give Balren's pants texture. Oh, and I don't want to get ahead of myself. So I put Balren's base coat of hat color over here. Art of Bartlett. Hi, Art of Bartlett. Yeah, I'm arting. So, Photoshop allows you to shoot yourself in the foot with organization if you want to. And if you just never label any of your layers, you will entirely lose track of what they are. Sup, Art of Bartlett. So since Photoshop lets you shoot yourself in the foot, I really try and label everything because it is very easy to get lost inside of the program as to what you're doing. So I'm trying to keep my sources on their own layers. I'm trying to keep my colors. Yeah, well, here's the thing. I normally don't use labels because I'm in a rush and it's something I can knock out and I know what I'm doing and I have no worries. I've found with all this character artwork stuff that I'm doing, because I'm using Photoshop, that the labeling has become essential for the labels, or labels for the levels. Layers. Wow. I just threw out a bunch of L words. Art of Bartlett messed me up. Here we go. So I'm going to grab that cloth and we're going to work on his pants now. So where did the cloth go? It probably went to my downloads. So I see a lot of nonsense in here, kids. A lot of nonsense. Probably went to the bottom. There they is. That's one of them, and that's one of them. Open. Yay, it's both cloths. Good for us. So I'm going to grab this guy with the move tool, drag him up here to the tab Balren, and release. I'll grab this guy. Is that the same guy? That's the same guy. Cancel. Go away. Leave me alone. This guy. Drag him up here, bring him down, release. So now, what are we looking at? Zooming out. Just go away, path. I don't want you. This path is making me cranky. I always forget how to make paths go away without making them delete themselves. Ugh, make selection. Yes. Deselect. Good. So backwards. Okay. Now I got these textures here. I know. It's like, I feel like a genius for having stumbled upon this. Now, here is a problem right away. Let's zoom in. I can see it. It's driving me crazy. This is the art teacher in me. There's no way in life, if this is a section of pants, that the fabric would be that size. Like the individual threads would be that big. So here's what we got to do. First off, I have to move these guys down to my sources so they can live down there, because you never, ever, ever want to mess with the original. You want to clone the original and then mess all you want with the clones, because, as my students will tell you, clones have no rights. So I am going to shrink this down. I punched up free transform. See this boxes around it now? That allows me to rotate it. Yeehaw. and I can resize it. And most importantly, and what we're going to get to is warp it. Warping is the jam. So I'm going to size this down to where I like how beat up it looks. I've already drawn some stress lines into the pants, so maybe we can swing off just that and I can paint in the values myself. So I'm going to tilt it slightly. See, there's no grain on this, so I might just use a combination of the two. So I'm going to size him down. That's about the size I'll use it. Oh, the other one. Actually, no, I'm getting ahead of myself. I am shooting myself in the foot already. Look at that. I said, don't make that. I said, do clones. So I'm going to take these two idiots and I'm going to drag them up here and make a clone of them. Make the originals go away. So now I'm working on clones. Yay. This guy has no rights, so I can shrink him down. And I can cut him into pieces if I feel like it. So, shrunken, ta-da. Grabbing this guy, shrinking him down, ta-da. I'm gonna work off a combination of the two. And so I'm putting that one over there. I'm gonna vanish this one for now. So now we're getting to one of my favorite aspects of Photoshop, blending modes. Now, what do I want to do here? So blending mode is this guy. These are all called blending modes up here. These all selectively allow light or shadow to become visible through whatever you've put on the layer. I've put this textured cloth on the layer. So I'm going to probably do overlay or multiply. Now, I can't tell you what all these do. I can tell you, however, I check all of them every time just to see what's going to work out for me. Because I end up playing in Photoshop as much as I end up knowing Photoshop. So I'm going to scroll through this guy. I just highlight the top one. Ta-da. Dissolve is always stupid. Darken looks decent. Let me look through here. So as you can see, darken allows dark objects to come through. Well, it just so happens our background is entirely black. So now it looks like it's been cropped out to only exist on his pants. Yeehaw. So I'm going to scroll down. Linear burn. It's probably going to be overlay or multiply. Nope. I'll go back to multiply, but that's perfect. Yeah, I like multiply. So darken and multiply, I'm flipping between these two. So if you look, darken allows dark objects to come through, but multiply really allows the dark lines I've bothered to ink in the first place to show through. However, I'm staring at this count of threads of my Balren crotch zooming. And because Cam asked for it. Oh, you wanted it. Let's get in there. Let's get in there. Let's get into see individual pixels. That's it, people. It's what Cam wants. So, here is the fabric. Now, the reason I'm getting close to crotchal region is I feel like, oh, dick pixel. Well played. I'm proud of you, Cam. I'm so proud. Well, to be fair, Animal G, this person doesn't exist except in me, Balren, and the guys' heads. So it's okay. Also, Kim knows how I feel about elves, so she's got nothing to worry about. I'm an elf racist. They suck. All right. So I am shrinking it down. Because you got to feel what's real. I know that seems like an odd thing to say or like very zen, but when you're messing with Photoshop and you're altering reality in front of you, your mind starts to accept the new reality. Here, I'll show you something that's really just mind-numbingly strange. So I was working on with my students on how to make a perfect version of themselves. And we end up talking a little bit about the nature of Photoshop, really causing people to question like what's beautiful and all that stuff. So make sure I shut that off. So I work this up in front of my students. I literally tweaked all kinds of stuff. And I pointed out that the nature of Photoshop also affects your psychology as you work. That once you change the image, now that you're staring at the image, because the image is only slightly altered from the original, you start to accept the thing you're looking at as reality, when in fact it's not. So the truth is, when I shut this off, you're going to see the original photo I took of myself in front of my students before I started warping it. So the sad thing is, I showed them to my kids like, that's me, right? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, except it's not. That's me. Yay. Gross. Yay. What happened to him? Young. Heroin addiction. Look at those eyes. That guy has seen some stuff. Now, my point is, in front of him, we were making slight changes all along the way. So you had to keep flickering back and forth to even notice there was a change, because your mind now accepts that this is reality. Like even now, as you're looking at it, you remembered old me look worse, but you couldn't really remember what was all that different about it. So, no, do not save changes. So, in here, as we keep sizing down, we got to keep asking ourselves, what's about the right size for these threads? And I don't want to go too small and don't go too big. I kind of like where it's at now. So I'm going to grab this. I'm going to put a slight tilt on it. Oh, hate. Oh, I'm good at hate. Just ask the guys, especially of the self variety. Self-deprecation never hurt anybody, and I don't know. The trouble with Photoshop is it really, like, once you know how far you can push it, you start to only see what's wrong with yourself. It's such an evil program. So I've cloned this texture so it'll run the whole. Actually, you know what? I don't think I'm even do that. Am I do that? Yeah, I am. Yes, I will. I'm on the fence with this one. You know what? No, I changed my mind. Delete that guy. So I like this size. That thread count looks like the correct size to me. So the trouble is now it's not enough to cover all the pants. So I'm going to move it back to a normal layer so I can see all of it. And now I'm going to start duplicating it so I have enough real estate to cover the pants. I would turn it sideways, except that's kind of like you feel like the grain, so to speak, of these threads is now going left to right, and I don't like that for the pants. I want them to like flow downward, because in a drawing, the direction of texture and value imply the three-dimensionality. So if I have them going downward, it'll imply Balren is more lanky than he appears to be. If I have the grain going sideways, it'll appear he'll be more bulky than normal. So I'd rather do it that way. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm now going to clone this here so I can see them both. And now I'm going to bond them with a merge command. So I'm going to merge down so they're the same layer. And now I'm going to use just the tool to end all tools, ladies and gentlemen. This is Clone Stamp. Clone Stamp is honestly the technology that made Photoshop what it was, even way back in the day. And it's the technology that many other tools are based off of. So here's what Clone Stamp does. Clone Stamp, you see a little targeting right now, little targeting reticle. I hold Alt and I click, boom, an area. Now, in another area, I can start painting, and it paints from my source area. Ooh. Ah. Spiffy. So I'm going to set my flow down real low. So it starts to, and flow, if you remember, was how it vaguely started to paint the new area in. And flow allowed us to make one thing slowly transition. So flow with a clone stamp starts to look inhuman. It starts to look a little abnormal. Yeah, it's one of the many ways to fix skin. Clone stamp is your soldier. Clone stamp does exactly what it's told. It is a scalpel. You pick it up, you cut, you put it down. It doesn't try and think for itself. I'll show you the one that tries to think for itself. I like to call them smart tools. They're smart because they try to make decisions for you, and sometimes it's like, buddy, if I want a decision made for me, I would have told you. This is one of the smart tools I am less annoyed with. This is the patch tool. Love him. He doesn't drive me too crazy. So patch tool is a selection tool that is also a clone stamp that also does an averaging algorithm. So I do a selection of the thing I want to remove, the bad thing I want to go away. And I don't want this transition of dark up for contrast. So you look at the right, it looks like one clean piece of cloth. So now I'm going to select that area and I'm going to move it over here, and it's going to sample another area. And then when I let go, it's going to take most of what I've done and average it with the stuff around the original location. So when I let go, click. You can see some darkness creeped in here from this area. And this here is lightness it averaged from over here. And then I'm going to zoom in, and when I let go, you'll see even the barrier, Control D, has a slight edge to it. But patch tool's pretty good. Go away. Patch tool's pretty good. It's a cool tool. And that's one of Levi's cool tools, everybody. Okay. So I'm going to grab... I'm going to try Healing Brush. He might really piss me off, though. Healing Brush is like Clone Stamp with an averaging command. So I'm going to go over here, and it'll paint it, and then average it in the middle. But see, I don't like this, because what's happening is there's some blurring happening in here because it's mishmashing all these textures together and averaging them, and I don't like that. So I'm going to stick to good buddy Clone Stamp because he does what he's told. He's a soldier. He's reliable. He doesn't try and lie to me. Okay. So I'm going to fade in here. I want to fade out the stain because I don't want all the stains to be the same stains, because I don't want to appear to be sing-song. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to get rid of this one on the left. Photoshop for the win, kids. Photoshop for the win. The danger I can create. Just remember, this is Photoshop. This is like industry standard. Imagine what deepfake stuff can do. You should be scared. Y'all should be scared. Don't become famous. They'll deepfake you. Nope. Okay. Now I got a pants base to work off of. So here's where things get fun and kooky. So I'm going to make a new paths for the pants. Now, the point of paths is that it allows you to do a very careful selection of an area that you know you'll keep coming back to. And then it saves that selection as a path. Because as you see, all the ones of all those, like hammer shaft, hammer gems, right eye, left eye, scale mail, armor, horns, claws, that's all from Kodo. Kodo had so many tiny areas that I had to keep coming back to. I ended up pathing almost all of him. So I'm about to do that for Balren. So I just want pants. I'm gonna make the trident go away for now because the trident's actually on its own layer, which is very convenient. So here we go. I'm going to grab quick selection. I got to make sure I'm on an illustration layer because the illustration only exists on that layer. So I'm going to paint, and Nope, I'm already pissed. So quick selection is a smart tool. The more you drag him, the more it grabs. The more it thinks you want it to grab. So the more I'm working, it's like, oh, but I thought you wanted that, so I added it to what you wanted. It's like, shut up, smart tool. I'll tell you what I want. You don't decide for me. It's like, but I thought you want, like, shut up. Go back in your box. So I'm going to grab lasso tool. This is specifically polygonal lasso tool. Polygonal lasso tools, when you've seen me using, it selects by doing straight lines. Clicky, clicky, clicky. And when you get done, boom, you have a path. It's fast and easy to learn. You can jump to magnetic, but magnetic lasso is its own problem. It's great when it's the correct use. And right now, polygonal will do my job better. So I'm going to go along here, and this, kids, is going to take a while. Oh, man, this is just going to, I'm going to want to die. This is just going to take a long time. Here's where we are in the part of Photoshop when the audience goes away. So I'm literally clicking along lines. This is going to suck. This is the part where it's like, I just need to watch. Hey, chat, say something. Hey, I'll tell you what. Let's do a quick vote. Hey, chat, what color pants should Balren have? Ooh, that's going to get him going. Say something. I'm giving up on you. Okay. That part's done. Except, are you done yet, Levi? I'm not done. I got to do the rest of his pants. So I hold shift to add to my selection. Brown or, oh, they should be brown or red. We can go with brown pants. Say something. These guys. These chuckleheads. Nope, can't go there. Already forgot. I gave Balren a little side dagger here you can barely see. And what is that? And that is a strappy strap. Gotta avoid the strappy strap, kids. Always avoid your strappy straps. So that strappy strap is going to be a completely different color because it'll be part of his belt and sash area. Like this one up here. You should hear the single clicks of a man slowly losing his mind in his basement. Seafoam blood. Burgundy. Ron. Ha! Ha! The arsonist had oddly shaped feet. Audrey! Look at me! It's Bush League. Her? I don't know her. What's her name? Lanolin? Like sheep's wool? I'm going to punch you straight in the mouth. I love scotch. I love scotch. Scotchy, scotch, scotch. Here it goes down. Down into my belly. Oh, I caught a hole in my work. See that on the strappy strap? There's a little hole in the black line there. He's going to be a problem later. So we got to patch him. Almost done, everybody. Thanks for bearing with me. This is the boring part. And they're going to be like, actually, the whole thing was the boring part. And I'll be like, ow. My feelings. Lanolin, like sheep's wool. 10K, 10,000 things. You know what, Pan? How about no, Scott? Zip it. When the problem comes along, you must zip it. Zip it good. Yeah, it's like this in my car. So I'm in my car. It's just me and my voice. And And I start testing out dumb voices. Oh, it's so hot. Milk was a bad choice. Yeah, there's really nothing better to do here, kids. We're just clicking on dots. About this time, if I were by myself working on Balren, I'd be listening to like big old gamer metal. Just like Everstorm, Unleash the Archers, Grand Magus. Ooh, Visigoth people. DMs everywhere. Credit where credit's due. I only discovered Visigoth because Brian Posehn on his own D&D podcast, Nerd Poker with Brian Posehn, introduced his audience to Visigoth. Oh man, they wrote a song called Dungeon Master, and I literally listened to it to psych myself up for writing game. I wish that were not a lie, but that's absolutely the truth. Yep, that's the handle I'm looking at. Okay. Avoid this trapeze. Did we get all of it? I think we got all of it. Okay, guys, the pants are traced. Okay. So now I'm going to right click and make a work path. This work path, I want 0 tolerance, kids. Tolerance is how much the path binds to the selection area you made. So if you have a really high tolerance, it starts to smooth it out. I want 0.5. You're going to see me this light up with all kinds of blue pixels. Clicky. Blue dots. So now I got to find me pants. So here's work path right here. I'm going to rename it. Well, let me name the damn path. There we go. Balren pants. And sorry, Kodo, all these are going to go away. I'm deleting all these by Kodo paths. Gone. So, now I got Balren pants. Such a dumb name. All right, Balren pants. You guys like Balren pants? Oh, man. Best band out of the 90s. Okay, so I'm going to click on my Balren pants. I need to make sure I'm on this cloth layer. Flicker. Oh, yay. That's it. Cloth layer. Balren pants. You'll see them right there, kind of blue. Here comes the fun part. You click, make selection. Yay. Actually, I'm getting ahead of myself. I don't want just Balren pants to do that. I want to warp them into place too. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take about half of them for one leg. I'm going to take a little less than half. Getting ahead of myself. Can't get ahead of myself. I am myself. And I'm going to layer via cut. Layer via cut separates it. Ooh. And set over here. Yes. Oh, people. I'm feeling the power. Let's see. I got to zoom in just right because that's too much. Let's call it 160. Sure. And now I'm going to set that to multiply so I can see my lines. Guys, I can see my lines. Yeah, I can see my lines. Okay. Now, here comes where reality starts to get weird. Pan's going to love this. So, Control T. Free transform. You saw me mess with this before. Free transform allows you to do spinnies. It also allows you to warp. And warping gets awesome. Warping allows you to make it move like silly putty. So my warp is up. Now, here comes some basics of Balren's in it. He's here. He just said he's here. He sent me a secret message, a dark secret message. This is key. What we're looking at, if I accept the pants I've placed right here where they are, the trouble with it is I'm slapping down a two-dimensional texture on a two-dimensional surface. And I can try and color it all day and fake a value, but it'll just look stupid and dumb, and it won't look three-dimensional. And we need it to look three-dimensional so we can make it right. So in order for it to be three-dimensional, I have to collapse on the sides here, move them in, and collapse on the side here. So it seems like over here the threads are a little bit wider, and over here they're a little bit closer together. And also I'm going to warp them down slightly. Bring this way in over here. Warp it down, down. Warp this over. Warp this over. And then if I bend it in the middle like that, it'll look like the pants literally changed direction. Yeah, I knew you'd like this part. Warp is pretty cool. And warp is really the little sister to liquefy. And liquefy is where stuff gets insane. Liquefy is where you can really do minor alterations. It's a Levi cool tool. Ding. Okay. Liquefy is where you get to major alterations of people, skin, all kinds of wackadoo nonsense. I don't like how the pants are too horizontal right there. So I'm going to warp this back, pull this here. Thanks posting and tweeting, but we're working on you. So if you want, Balren, if you got any input to like aesthetics, like colors or textures or something's like, I'm telling you, it actually matters. It totally matters, Air. All that stuff matters. It really does. So I'm going to warp this. Oh, look at this, guys. This is where it's at. I got this. Now it flows up here, but then it straightens out. Then it has a slight warp down here. I am very happy with that. That's going to stay. And now we're going to watch a magic trick. You're going to like this. So I go selection. I make sure I flicker it. Yep, that's what I want. And here's where it gets cool. Ready? Oh, you're gonna think that this is gonna be so sweet. I'm gonna grab a selection tool to do the cut, and I'm gonna layer via copy. And that went dark because I cloned it from the thing. So now the path cut only exactly what we need. So it trimmed off all the extra. Oh, listen to that. He's so easy to please. Every time Pan says something, I could just hear, holy crap, that's just badass. I just hear his deep voice in the back of my head. Holy crap. So now I'm going to take other pants leg and set it to, hey! Dude McDud 72. That's my son, everybody. He never watches our stream. This is awesome. This is making me happy about life. That must mean he got his phone back. This one's more of a straightaway leg. We'll have to do a merge later up top. The other pant leg. Keep that there for now. Enter. Do what I say, Photoshop. Give me lip. I swear to God, I'll come over there and smack you, Photoshop. Okay. That guy's going to make him go away so I can see what I'm doing on the new one, because that overlap is going to mess with me. So now I'm going to punch up this and then punch up the warp again and then collapse in. And I'm really going to collapse here on the side. And I don't have to worry about anything over here because I got the cutlass. Actually, that's the scimitar of horse detection, everybody. which I believe Balren lost, but I don't want to remove it, so we're just going to leave it there. Okay. Why are you giving me crap photo? You're not zooming. Why are you not zooming? Do what I say. There we go. Okay. Gotta get... I'm gonna do this for you, Ogs. I'm gonna get a bit of a bulge going here. The prowess has got to be, you know. I want to warp up that. Okay. That's the direction I want the threads to go. These threads are not working with me today. Lost to the mayhem of Vula Sands. Well, there's a lot of mayhem to be had that day. Lack of beard. There's some real elf hate going on here. Lack of beard. Isn't that Cam? He is an elf. What the hell? So much for kinship. That one didn't need as much warping because there's not a bent leg. Yeah, but Kim, Kobe can back me up on this. Kobe was a good learner. You still there, Kobe? Silence. So, in case Kobe's still there, I'll act like he's still there. He was legitimately good at learning this and picking it up. Not everybody in the room is. And this stuff is pretty hard. I'm burning through it like it's easy, but you got to realize I'm sitting on 18 years of experience. So like, it's a lot. And the trouble is, it's also one of those things where, no matter how many times I explain it, unless you do it, it won't stick. So, the way like I always tell the kids that, art is like dancing or driving. We can talk about it all day, but you won't actually learn how to do it until you do it. So I got the cut ready to go. I got the path set up for the selection. I right click with a selection tool. You can't do it with the cross tool. It has to, the actual selection. This is the best in the world. Layer via copy. I use it all the time. It takes a selection and pulls it onto a new layer by itself. That's how you guys saw me do the quick cut of the pants earlier. But it only works with selection tools. So only selection tools have this available in the right click. So I layer via copy. You see them go dark. I take the original layer and I delete it. And now we have right leg, left leg. So now we have a bit of a problem because there's this crossover and I don't want that crossover to be there. So what am I going to do is decide which pant I like better for that. I like the right better, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I like the right leg. Balren's left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run along this black seam right there and just do a cut. I'm going to go... I'm going to stay on the black line so you don't actually see the manipulation of the cut, because if I float outside of it, the cut will look too perfect. And when things look too perfect, the stain's not going to stay. Stop talking about the stain. And delete. Hold on. I'm not even on the right layer. That's why. Click E and delete. I really hope I did delete something on the layer. So that looks good. Now I gotta delete the other side. Now I gotta go down here. So Cam, have you gotten used to talking to yourself yet? Because it's still pretty weird over here. Oh, I need some like intro music, gentlemen. So I should just make some weird intro music. Okay, I got that selection. Which layer am I flickering? This one is the deleted, clicky, and deletey. Ah, look at that. Pants, everybody, pants. I'm gonna get rid of that stain though, because I like Balren enough. I'm not gonna do Balren that way. I can't do it in good faith. I can't. It's not right. So, whoop, wrong layer, wrong layer. That's that layer. Layer 7 is the other pants. Why am I even doing this? I'm going to merge them down. Right click. Merge down. Pants are on the same layer. Okay. Clicky. Clicky. Alt. Click. Defining target source area. And I paint the stain away. This is going to be harder over here because the stain is really close to this white area that I do not want to go into. So I am getting quiet only because I want to focus. Focus. Okay. I'll take it. It's great. The request was burgundy. Here's where things get fun. The reason we have the Balren's Pants path is anytime I want to add anything to Balren's Pants now, they're quarantined for me already. So I hit make selection, boom, now they're selected. Now, if I want to give him burgundy pants, I make an empty layer of nothing, and then I grab good old paint bucket, and then I get burgundy going. Clicky. Now you're like, that looks dumb, except I take a blending mode, until it layers well. Nope. Light looks dumb. Dumb. Too dumb. 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 Overlay's not bad. It's a little too neon. Ooh, soft light. I am prone to soft light. I found soft light's really effective for the stuff I end up using. Hard light's a bit much. Ugh, vivid light's gross. Nope. Pin light's not bad. Yuck! Color is usually reliable. Saturation's kind of good. Colors. No, color's looking too monochrome. Like if you look at color, it's too I'd say monochrome. Pan can't tell. This right here, it's just too much. Ooh, saturation was solid. I kind of like saturation too. It's a little on the brown side. I'm going to look at soft light because soft light appeared to have some motes of other colors going on. I don't know, man. I'm digging soft light. I'm going soft light. That's it. Now, here's where things can get cool for Balren and his pants. So, I like the color overlay. I like the texture. The trouble is, there's no discernible value going on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the pants layer, which is the texture. Okay. Ta-da, texture. And I'm going to make a duplicate. Why are you making a clone of something you already made? Because I'm going to mess with the clone to see if I like what I'm going to do. I'm going to experiment on the clone. And that way, if I like what I've experimented with, cool. I will use the clone as my alpha. But if the clone is a bad clone, I will burn it into nothingness because no one cares about its rights. So I'm going to take this clone and, oh, by the way, if you're watching the show and you are a clone, apologies. So I'm coming to this guy over here. We haven't messed with him yet. This is dodge. This is burn. So dodge, everybody, is lightens pre-existing values. Burn darkens pre-existing values. So you've ever seen somebody just take a brush that seemed to magically take all the colors in an area and selectively darken them or brighten them? It was burn or dodge, like for sure. So I'm going to take the dodge, and the dodge looks like a lollipop, and I'll explain why, and the burn why some other day, because it's going to melt heads and requires like visual aid, and I'm just not ready. So the dodge, I'm going to dodge out light areas of his pants because it's already on the dark side. So I'm going to work on, I don't know what midtone's going to do. Yep, midtones is fine. So I'm going to set the midtones down a little bit. Zoom out. And I have to pay attention where light would hit. Now, the pants is over the thigh here. So that's going to be a dark area because it would be catching shadow. The knee, however, is starting to come into light. So I'm going to dodge out the knee. And I'm going to dodge out this side here. And I'm going to dodge out the crotchal region. Appear to add more three-dimensionality to things. Now I'm going to go in and do some burns. Now I'm going to burn the inner thighs, people. We are in some dangerous, sweaty territory. So these burns, you gotta stay subtle because this process I can go back on, but I gotta be careful. No shit, people. Our Balren, demon beast of Vula Sands, works in the medical field, and our Balren is holding samples of coronavirus. That makes you like a degree away from the world's biggest celebrity right now. By celebrity, I mean the coronavirus. So I'm going to go in and burn down that shadow, burn some stuff up here because these strappies would leave minor shadow casts. Minor shadow casts. Here we go. Oh, just the tiniest little shadows. Just so tiny. So I'll come here. A little bit of burn right there. Oh, like that burn. Oh, gotta feel that burn. Gotta burn. I'm burning his legs. Burning his legs with a digital paintbrush. Burn. All right, I'm gonna take little marks here so I can accentuate like little stress lines in the cloth. And here's where it's going to get funky awesome. Check this out. You're going to like this. I've already drawn in originally wrinkles where the pants would be forced into the boots. So I'm just going to take a teeny little burn brush and I'm going to increase my exposure pretty big right now. And I'm just going to go in and burn. And this is going to look like they're actually catching shadow before they get jammed into that sweaty boot. Sweaty boots.
He's got these really sweaty boots.
You know what? I'm getting way too used to this talking to myself. I take it back. I'm having a great time. Just hearing myself do dumb voices. And then she pulled out her sweaty boots. So she stepped on it. It hurt. Okay. I like how I called out to see if Kobe's still there. And he's like, he goes silent just to see if I'll start saying stuff. Really, just so you know, highly unprofessional that I have a Twitch stream that I that I share to my students. We're specifically told not to do that. Not for Twitch, but you get the idea. I don't think my bosses even know what Twitch is, so that works out. Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, what's more important? Educating the future or getting more views on Twitch? I mean, come on, people. So, right side, our right side, his left, looks pretty great. All the folds. So I'm going to come in here and do some teeny tiny stress lines off an edge. I know it looks good. I was trying to tell you guys. I don't like how fast the brush is making change because all this burning I'm doing is, even though it's on a clone, a permanent change. So the trouble is, if I don't like anything I do, I can go back in time. Control Alt Z is our step backward. It takes us back in time. However, when you go back in time, it's a decoy zombie? Ooh. Welcome. I'd say his name, everybody, and it's Zombie Decoy. I'm not going to do that to you, zombie. Coffee. So, as I was saying, all the burns I'm doing are permanent. So, if I really don't like anything I do, then that means I got to go back and do it all again. So, I can go back to my history. Here's my history. This is everything I've done. Like literally every time I click on the mouse, it keeps track of it in the history. But as you can see, the entire list right now of history says burn tool. That's because when you turn on Photoshop, it is a preference or an option to set how many steps of memory you want Photoshop to remember. So in case you make a lot of mistakes, you can go back in time. The trouble is, the more you make the history of Photoshop expansive, the slower you make Photoshop. You can't make the history bar too crazy big. So I'd rather just be more on the cautious side. Plus, I find in art, when you don't have as much of a safety net, it forces you to get better. Like I recommend to everybody, if you want to get better at drawing, start forcing yourself to draw in pen. You will have to get better. I now want to shape Balren's knee. I think we're getting a little too dark down here. So let's see. Yep. There's a knee there, kids. It's a knee. Let's see what I want to do here. Bring in the coat. Boom. Knee would be down here. And Balren's got pants. I don't love them yet, but I'm at one of my favorite stages in art. To quote my father, we're at the stage where we need to either shit or get off the pot. And when art achieves that stage of it's either done and perfect or it's not done yet, I find it's best to get context. So these pants look good for now. There is so much other white space though that I haven't even touched yet. I won't really see the pants and see if they look right until the other things are done too. So what should we do now? I've been streaming for about an hour and a half. I think I'll move on to, what do I want to do here? We'll put base coats down for skin. That might be nice. I've been expressly told on multiple occasions that, well, thank you very much, zombie. Gotta have that context. The white staring at you doesn't help you much at all. So, time to make another, I'm sorry, everybody. Time to make another path. I'm going to try and hope that my drawing skills with the pen were foolproof and I didn't leave any holes. If I left holes, this magic wand is going to do wonkiness. Like, for example, right here, I know I have a hole. I'll show you what I mean. This strap on the leg that's holding a dagger has a hole right here. If I hit magic wand, I'm going to want only the dagger strap to select. However, I know there's a hole right here, so more is going to select. For example, clicky. Aha! Strap went, and this thing went, and I don't want that. So, hopefully we'll be fine. We get to skin tone. I'm going to repair this because it's going to drive me absolutely bonkers. So I take a tiny brush. I make it like a 2-pixel brush, you know, the kind that everybody needs all the time, a 2-pixeler. I'm going to color sample the local black, and I make sure I'm on the illustration copy, and I am, so I don't draw this on an unnecessary layer, and I patch, and we're good. So now that won't happen again. Now I got to find out just how bad it is up here. This doesn't look safe right there. That is definitely a hole. This is why I spend a lot of time when I'm drawing the originals on paper with pencil, that when I ink them, I am cautious about making sure I don't get lazy inking it. Everything you're looking at started off as a pencil drawing. The pencil drawing was then inked using thin point microns and Sharpies. And then after that, I scanned it, stealing from work, using our awesome scanner copy machine. Then I did everything else in Photoshop, which is the devil, because Photoshop makes you actually take, in my opinion, like twice as long. Because here's the thing. If I was sitting here with watercolors, I'd be working without a net. I know I couldn't make any mistakes. I know if I made a mistake, it'd be really hard to clean it, and really hard to fix it. So the good news is, in a weird way, if I made a mistake, I'd have to work around it and make that mistake look purposeful, like I meant to do it. Photoshop doesn't work that way. Oh, that selection went very nicely. Let's see here. Yes, just got the face. Let's grab that upper lip. Clicky on the ear. Oh, guys, this is going too good. This is going too good. I can't trust this. Can I get that sliver? Oh, did you see that? That was beautiful. That was beautiful. Now, can I get the neck? Yes, yes. A lot of hair strands. The hell is that back there? I don't remember what that is. I'm going to make it hair, and we'll let it go. Okay, more scar tissue. That sliver's going to be skin for sure. Clicky. These are all bandages. Clicky. And I think, yeah, that's a sword strap I put underneath his jacket. So that'll be skin tone too. Let's not forget the hands, people. Did I say hands plural? Oh, look at this. This is amateur hour here. I left gaps between the fingers for the backdrop. And I got some weird stuff that's not selecting. So I'm just going to run roughshod right over the white-black separation lines. And just grab whole chunks here. Damn it. Hold on. I might be able to save it. Escape. Oh, thank God. Okay. Sometimes you got to be really careful about when you command a selection tool to finish its selection with a double click, because sometimes it does what it just did, where it shuts it all off. Happy Dog. Hi, Happy Dog. Welcome to the stream. So yeah, as I was saying, if this were a real drawing in real life, I would have to make mistakes look like I meant to do them. I'd have to make, and just roll with it. But now the danger of Photoshop, and this is truly like why it's great and terrible. And I've given kids complexes about this. One of them was complaining to me about it. She said, like you said early on, can you mention my dad's art site? There have been multiple con cancel. Oh, yes, I shall. Let me finish my thought, and I shall come back around to very important David Pancake art stuffs. And she said that you told me early on that because you can make everything perfect with this software, because everything's always a working document, you really should. And I was like, yeah. So part of the danger is, because this is always a working document, you can always go back into it, always open it back up. It's not a stain on a page like watercolor is. there really isn't an excuse for not to be great. So then when you hear yourself tell other people that, it's kind of a nightmare when you sit down and do it. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you were unaware, our player Skeezer, who is Rain in the chat right now, is the son of David Pancake. And his link is in there, davidleepancake.com, davidleepancake.com. And he makes glorious sculptures, truly glorious sculptures. The big stuff, I think if he had an identity, it's that his art is predominantly taxidermied dragon heads. It looks as if you hunted a dragon and mounted it on a board and put it on your wall. My personal favorite is he's made ventilation dragons, and they literally bought tiny little vent covers and then bent the ventilation slats apart and then installed a tiny dragon that looks like it's prying its way through your ventilation system. And then you wall mount it. Now, is it actually connected to ventilation? No. You hang it on your wall, but it then looks like you have a vent there and one is trying to crawl out. He has awesome jewelry, as Air Laser's talking about right now. He is just really, really excellent at tiny detail. If you see, for example, he's done some phoenixes and some griffins, and if you walk up, I don't care how small the particular object is, he'll have every individual line of every individual feather laid out, like in full detail. It is pretty amazing. As much as you guys may watch me doing this Photoshop and say, I wish I could do... Shit, did I just fuck it up? Hold on. Oh, thank God. And watch me do this and say, I wish I could do Photoshop. I look at what Pan's dad does, and I wish I could do that better. I can sculpt. I am in no way, shape, or form in the same realm as what David does. He is a master, and I only aspire to be what he is someday. His casting work is just amazing. Anyway, so I've got a hand done and I've got skin done, and I don't have to worry about the other hand because I cut that off in game. So here we go. I'm now going to make me another work path because I want to... No, wait. I just got a flaw. See... You kinda sculpt? Jesus, Zombie. Okay. Everybody, Zombie is a former student. I assure you, the man can sculpt. I've seen him sculpt. He is excellent at it. He thinks three-dimensionally, and not everybody thinks three-dimensionally as artists go. Sculpture is one of the great, what do I call them? Deal breakers. Some kids struggle forever with certain mediums. Sculpture is one of them. Some kids just struggle with sculpture. Some kids do not. By that extension, people. Some people struggle with perspective drawing. Some do not. Some struggle with wet media, meaning they were good at drawing because it's dry media. But then once they try and mess with paint, it breaks their brain. So I find that's always just true. Like, people have the medium that they struggle with, and not everybody can pull off sculpture because it involves, and here we're going to get to, you guys are getting like literally all the kind of stuff I say in class when I'm teaching kids. So Zombie, I'm sorry you've heard a lot of this before, but there is a famous educational psychologist called Howard Gardner that is no longer with us in society. And Howard Gardner is, I believe in a lot of his theories. And his major theory that he contributed to the world is the idea of multiple intelligences. And he says that all of us have within us 9 unique intelligences, each of which is capable of very specific skill sets. So all of us have a language intelligence. That is literally how quickly, conveniently you can pick up new languages. So if you were exposed at a young age, your language intelligence is very high. I have good inter and intrapersonal intelligence, and interpersonal intelligence is how well you speak with and talk to and read other people. And intrapersonal intelligence is how well you understand yourself, how self-analytical you are. And I never stop self-analyzing. I live in my head kind of constantly. So all of us have all these different intelligences in different scales. The sad truth about the American education system is it simply does not test all of the intelligences because some of them don't have a test. Dancers and athletes have kinesthetic intelligence. That's intelligence of movement of the body. And you're like, how is that intelligence? Well, I can just tell you right now, what we would call graceful or having like athletic aptitude is a way of being intelligent. So somebody that's clumsy has poor kinesthetic intelligence. So Zombie there and I, and really any other art in the stream, those I'm talking about, have excellent visual spatial intelligence. If you don't know if you have good visual spatial intelligence, I'll give you a litmus test that I tell all my students. If you remember how to get back to a place after you've been there once, you have good visual spatial intelligence. If you can look at a pile of objects and automatically know whether or not they're going to fit in a closet or a trunk space of a car without actually testing it, you have excellent visual spatial intelligence because your mind is capable of understanding three-dimensional space and volume and stacking it together well. 3D men, like Zombie, is they're the kind of people that can pick up the art and turn it three-dimensionally in their head and only really see one side of it at first, but then they can pick it up and turn around the brain. I'm getting all over the place here. Sorry, I have tropey teacher things I say. So I stopped talking about what I'm doing. Happy dog, don't let it stop you. Just make more stuff. Oh, well, he's the best. I seriously, I want to be as good as he is. I really do. Well, he's awesome. Thank him for being a mentor. So, let's see here. I'm just getting rid of all these lines on the face. I don't want any lines on the face. I'm going to avoid. Pan Dad for the win. I hope I get a nasty back pat. We really do owe him a steak dinner. Like, he joked, but we seriously owe him a steak dinner for that and a lot more. So here we go. I now have a selection of skin. Skin is all set. Right click with a selection tool. Very key. Selection tool. Make work path. Work path. I'm just going to call this one skin. Skin.
It's the skin. Puts the lotion in the basket. It puts the lotion on the skin. It does this every time it's told.
Okay. Now I got my skin. I am going to come up here to... Yeah, we got a lot of promotion there. Yeah, merch stuff. Are you guys trying to kick me off? I feel like Rain's trying to kick me off. He's posting all the stuff he posts at the end of the show. I don't think I called the end of the show yet. Pan. Okay. Yeah, you better, LOL. I'm not done. All right, here we go. So I'm going to the top layer. Make a blank layer. I will deal with where this layer goes. So I got my skin layer. My skin path. So my skin path is set. So the beauty part is now it's always there. And trust me, for something as important as like skin or hair color or eyes, you're going to constantly come back to that area to keep repainting it and repainting it and repainting it. So you can do what you want, but you should use paths or you're a fool. So I'm going to use a path now. So I'm going to make a selection. I do not want to feather it. I'll talk about feathering some other day. And now I'm going to grab base coats. And Balren has said on multiple occasions, I'm a wood elf. That's my Balren impression. So I actually left out some of the accent because I can't quite pin down his accent. So I want to make his skin tone a nice warm brown that is like, I'm going to start with a warm brown, but I'm not actually going to make him brown. I'm going to dial down the saturation from there. So he just appears to be almost tan. That's like the plan. Almost tan. Now, this color I've got here is a poor skin color. No one is this like caramel tone. So it is key with color. Like you never want the saturation to be really, really high with skin tones. So skin tones is always like a mind mess for everybody. It's like hands down the biggest question I get asked by students that are painting. And the only thing they don't know is like, how do I make skin? So here's how you make skin, everybody. Skin colors are orange. There you go. The entire human race, all of us, are orange. Here's how I know we're orange. Here's my scientific proof. I don't care what race or nationality you're from. If I take a photo of you and I convert said photo into a photo negative. So if I flip that photo, a photo negative is always the opposite color. So if I take a picture of a beautiful green lawn, that lawn will be red in the photo negative. If it is a dark green lawn with a lot of shadows, it'll be a bright red lawn with a lot of pinks and whites, because every dark shadow of green is going to be a bright pink, because photo negatives flip every color to its opposite. If you look at every human in a photo negative, they're blue. They're light blue or they're dark blue, but they're blue because we're orange. So it's tough to, nail that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start here in the middle of an orange that's just ridiculous that I would never actually use. And now, so I'm going to dial down the saturation and kill the life out of the color. Because the point of saturation is you kill the life of the color. You make it less vibrant. And now I'm going to slightly darken. Actually, I'm going to darken more and then desaturate up here a little bit. I got to find my sweet spot. I don't like what I'm doing. Let's see. That's not bad. Let's see. We'll see how that goes. If this looks about right. He's going to look kind of... Okay. See how that looks with a multiply so it lets the lines shine through. Okay. I like how the moment we put skin tone on him, his eyes look even more like I don't give a shit about anything. He looks even more cocky than he did before. Let's see. Yeah, that'll be a fine place to start. He's definitely on the tan side, but we can work with that. So yeah, he's super I don't give a shit. He definitely looks like a nice caramel skin tone. I kind of like that. Because I can lighten that, and the highlights will make it look real. Because if he stayed this color, it feels like it's a hair too dark. Like I'm really making wood elves look almost Latin American. And I want him to look a little bit more ruddy skinned, but I don't know if I want to go like a full, like deep tan. So this is just driving me bonkers, these white spots. Like it's driving me bonkers pants. So I'm going to come here to the illustration layer and select E and delete E and select E and delete E. And the reason why I really like that I'm doing this stream today, like no joke, is now my players actually understand just how long it takes to do anything in Photoshop, because it takes forever. So there's my base coat for Balren's skin. What did we do today? We gave him skin and pants. That's it. How long did that take? 2 hours. Thanks, zombie. I appreciate it, man. But we're probably going to clock out in about 17 minutes because 2 hours is more than too long for me to have, because my wife also has her own job she's attempting to do. Okay. So I got an idea for these feathers, y'all. We're going to steal real feathers, because why not? So back to my favorite place. Textures. Log in again. Don't remember me. I hate you, textures.com. You're so mean. Feather. Let's see if we get anything. 82 feathers. Oh. Dustin. Oh, we got to use one of these. Like, look at that. Look at these. Days Purdy's. It arced to the right. I like these guys best because they have a nice transition between pattern and knot. So I'm going to do that guy. And well, these feathers just look stupid is what they look. These look ridiculous. No right mind. What is this nonsense? Okay. Feathers, feathers, feathers. A lot of birds here, people. Go figure. I don't want to pull one off of a bird. I'll take this set. I can actually work with that. Yeah, that's not in the illustration, by the way. So here's the fun one, people. So if you were not aware, if you're just joining us, hi. I am making my friends' characters in the D&D game I run. So since I am doing that, I am working off illustrations that I made literally like over the summer. So that means that since then, a number of things have happened in game that have physically changed their appearance. And the one thing I had to change is Balren lost a hand. Now, we say Balren lost a hand. I cut it off. But in the hand that he lost, I absolutely had to remove the hand. So I had to go back into this illustration and I had to do that. There used to be a hand there. Ain't no hand now. So I'm going to get rid of this white sliver because it's been driving me bonkers all night long. I want to punch something, but I'm not gonna. Oh, guys, the relief I feel. Oh, look at that. It's so clean. I can't look at those dots on the sword. I can't look at the dots on the sword. Okay, I got to move on. Okay. So we got feathers. Let's try and get these feathers to work. This is going to be some straight up nonsense. So let's open up some feathers, y'all. Let's go to downloads because that's where they went. That's where they went. That's where they went. Art armor. He's not wrong. I'm afraid to do stuff to them because then I know I'd have to change the art. Like Kodo is about to make his full plate in the game and he's purposely making it out of all these masks. And I'm like, God damn it. I'll have to art those fucking masks. So, let's see here. What's a good one? I like this one a lot. And I like this one a lot. So I got me some feathers. No, I don't. 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 Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Deleted. And now I take this guy and I move him over here. I take this guy and I move over here. And I'm going to erase some of his buddies with a big old erase tool. And now my eraser tool, I set my hardness very tall because I do not want a sloppy edged eraser right now because I want to cut. I want to cut like a razor. Now I gotta set a smaller brush. Why is that not cutting? Because I'm a dum-dum. Because I'm a big dum-dum. Okay. Okay. This Photoshop, I tell you. Love-hate affair. Love-hate affair. Okay. Merge down. Let's move this guy to the Balron. Shablam! There's some feathers there. Let's take these. Let's just take one of these guys. Let's just take. This guy looks like he's been through a fight. Nope. Yes. No. 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 He's ugly. No. I changed my mind. Okay. That guy. I like that guy. He was hiding in the back and he's like, it's cool. It's cool. This feather is miscongeniality. Okay. Here we go. Shablam. Oh, that feather's in for business. Look how big that thing is. It's ready to rock. So now I'm going to delete these feathers. And nope. And nope. And now I've got to separate out just the feather. Will Magic Wand help me? See here, kids. Magic Wand got very confused. Doesn't know what to do. Oh, Magic Wand, you're breaking my heart. Okay. It's coming close to doing what I want, but not quite. Magic Wand did a lot of the heavy lifting early on, so we'll let it take a victory lap. We'll come back in with the lasso. Levi, why are you grabbing the background? Because I can attempt to make Magic Wand select that entire feather, but it won't want to do that because that feather is fairly complicated. There's a lot of value changes. There's a lot of craziness going on in that feather. So instead, you grab the background. And after you grab the background, you can right click and you can select inverse and it flips the selection. So now the feather's selected and only the feather's selected. And now I got a flicker to make sure I'm on the right layer, and I am. And now I right click and I layer via copy, and layer via copy made a duplicate. And so I'm going to delete the original we copied it from. Standalone feather. And now I'm going to grab the other feathers and essentially do the same thing to them. Luckily, they have a much wider, brighter background, so I can probably make Magic Wand do all the work for me. Oh, and look at that. It did. Okay. So, you're good. And now, hopefully, deleted. And Control D for deselection. And it left me some goobers. I gotta get rid of those guys, because they're ugly. Ugly. I do not look like how pixely that looks. That looks pixel city. It looks pixel my pants. I don't like it. So, I got these feathers. What I'm going to do with them? I'm going to separate these two. Don't separate us. I own you. I separate you, feather. You go on a different layer from your brother. This feather goes over here. It's got the wrong angle, so I'm going to Control T, free transform. And inside the right click of Control T, I can flip stuff. Flippy. Now it's a mirror image of itself. Control T again allows me to hold down Shift. I can now size things down with Control T. So from this corner, I can go bleh, but I don't want to do that because look at that. That's dumb. So you never warp stuff. Don't warp your stuff with Control T. That's a dum-dum. Don't be a dum-dum. So hold Shift, and then when you hold Shift, it sizes down proportionally. So the proportions remain, and your feather looks so pretty. And now I'm going to move my feather into place. But Levi, what about the feathers you drew? Ahaha! I never said I wasn't going to use them. Watch this nonsense. So multiply. No, I don't want to do multiply. I can't see what I'm doing. So I need one that lets me see the line through it, but also lets me see my feather. Actually, that's not bad. You know what? Strike that. I am going to stick to multiply and make my black background go away. Go away, black background. So now I can see both. Got that good old Photoshop checkerboard background. And I'm going to make my feather slightly transparent so I can see both the line. Yes, that's what I want. So now I can size down the feather in a way that I know what's happening. So I size it down like this. And I bring up Pan's favorite, the warp. And I'm literally going to warp the feather till it fits my drawing. Now I got to watch that center shaft on the feather, what a quill used to actually be made of. I should know what that body part's called on a bird, but I don't. It's the central, like, keratin component to the feather. I don't know what it's called. Any ornithologists out there, help me out, yo. Oh, just wait till I'm done with this. It's going to look really creepy, but kind of perfect. Hit enter. And now I'm going to go in my illustration copy. So this is the original illustration. So when I click on the outside of the original illustration, it just runs all along the edge of the drawing, like right to the edge. So now I go back to my feather. Where is it? Nope. Damn it. See, this is why Photoshop is kind of tricky. I don't even remember where the feather is. There it is. Layer 12. Let's not forget that. Feather. Okay. There it is. Look at that. Now that I'm on the feather and I have the outside selected, I hit delete and it trims the outside for me exactly to the drawing. And now I bring up the opacity and boom. The feather is exactly the size of the drawing I made of a feather. Haha. Warp for the win. Now I'm going to take one of these guys and I will have an easier time with this one because it's already similar to the shape. So take this one and delete it and they're gone. And now I'm going to, what did I do? Escape. What did I do? Clicky. Control T. Yay. Now I'm going to move this into position. Assume the position. And flip horizontal. That went a little bit more than I wanted. Clicky, clicky. It's a clicky fest. For a clicking clicker. For to click. And warp time. And enter. No. Take it back. I see a sliver. Go away, sliver. I own you, sliver. You do what I say. Photoshop is giving me lip today and I'm not having it. Okay. Now, my hat's in the way. I got a problem happening over here. So where'd my hat go? Hat, go away. So I'm going to click on the inside of the hat. And I'm going to click on the feather layer, which I will flicker to confirm. There it is. And I'm going to hit delete. Nicely trimmed. And the other feather, delete. Nicely trimmed. And this, I'm just going to click on the feather layer that left the extra. Control D to shut off my selection. And erase out this nonsense. Don't really like eraser tool except for big dumb jobs. Now, feather. We need to warp you into place. So I need to see through you for that to happen. Yep, that's the problem, see? I will bring it up so you guys can actually see. This line doesn't stay nice and center as it should in a feather. So I will now use my warping powers of warping to make it stay center. I'm happy. Clicky. And bring it all the way up. And I hit magic wand on the illustration copy on the outside layer. And then I click on this feather that I'm trying to do. And I hit delete. And then it trims it down. And then I hit Control D. And then I hit this feather and I tell it to be a multiply. Boom, boom. Now you can't see because the feather's so dark. But my black lines from the original illustration just came through. And because this feather's so dark, I am not loving its color. So I'm going to go into some global changes. Oh, global changes are fun. So I'm going to bring up my brightness contrast so I can bring up what natural color is happening. Guys, it was a green feather all along. No, probably not. Probably just a black shiny feather. So I'm going to probably do that again. But once you start doing too many of the same adjustment of brightness contrast, things get weird. Okay, here's the weird. See how it's all grainy right here? We don't like that graininess. So I'm going to bring it down just a hair. Oh, I got a sliver right here too. I got a sliver. There. Much better. So I got that graininess right there. I got the other feather. And I'm going to mess with its coloration. And hue saturation takes an object on a layer by itself and changes its color to whatever you want. But it does so globally. So here's what's weird. I have a brown here and a light tan. I will drive up the saturations to find out what colors they actually are. So we have oranges and yellows in this. And we have some dark greens. So if I move this slider, they all change at the same time on a ride along the color wheel. Ooh, so pretty. Pretty colors. Oh, God. Give him a red feather. Now, I'm not going to leave it 100% saturation because it looks ridiculous. It's cartoon-like. So when I drive back down to normal colors, suddenly you see the tiniest motes of red. I'm going to drive it up just a bump. Nope. I'm driving it to right there. So now it's more than it was. And now he got 2 feathers in his hair, everybody. Oh, feathers in his hat. Feathers in his hat. Bring the hat back. Oh. And that, everybody, is 8 o'clock. So this is how far we got with Balren today. Demon Beast of the Seas. I will come back, I don't know when, and work more on the Balren because Resin Hana in the chat there is making music faster than I can make art, and that is unacceptable. So I'll come back this some other day. We'll get more announcements out about when I'm going to do this a little bit earlier. So if y'all want to jump on, you'll have more advance notice. But today was I want to get this started. And I got very excited. So I just started. I tend to be the wild mage of the group. And if I feel spontaneous, things are happening. So, plug time. Monday nights, Wisdom Check with Dustin and Jeff. We have interviews of guests. All of our content is, as you can see in the chat, available on, most of our content for past broadcasts on YouTube. Feel free to check it out. Feel free to buy merches from Redbubble. And feel free to join our Discord, everybody. Discord, we are a happy, fun family. We are very kind people, and we are always chatting about something or another and talking about ideas and concepts and who knows what's. In addition, our next guest on Monday is Indigo Chameleon. And I believe Indigo Chameleon also is going to have on her husbando. Am I correct, Rain? Waiting on a type for him to type for stuff to type. Silence. Yes. So they're going to both be on. That, I think, is our next stream. Our next Everstorm game is on the 21st, everybody. So while you're in quarantine and lockdown, check out Everstorm, everybody. It's going to be funsies. And check out the rest of the stream team. We have a lot on our stream team. Lich, Dragons in the Dining Room, The Grouch Couch, Air Laser streams, a lot of cool content. There's always something going on with all of us, so feel free to swing by and check it out. And that's all I can about think of right now. No, I'm a dum-dum. So, DM2Art would be a rival stream to Bardic Knowledge, which runs on Tuesday nights. So as I am making art for our characters, Resin Hana on the chat is Cam, and he is making music for the characters. So join me in the war I now declare upon Bardic Knowledge. Support us both, yes, but please assault Bardic Knowledge with how much better DM2Art is. Thank you. And with that, I'm outs, y'all. Now I got to figure out how to get outs. Look, there's a button that says end stream. So, thanks everybody for checking it out. Just remember, hashtag DM2Art better than Bardic Knowledge. And I'll see all y'all the next time I pop on, and I'll give you more advanced notes next time. And so with that,